Disclaimer, this series revolves around criticising things, and the fact that I'm doing that doesn't necessarily mean I dislike the thing. Thank you. Click below to watch the original Sims video, or to buy Shrek 2.
Once upon a time.
Reading, also narration.
Hey, we're gonna make a CinemaSins clone. Should we bring anything new to the table, or add our own spin to the format? No! What I think is a much better idea than that is to rely so heavily on loads of CinemaSins tropes that our video ends up feeling more like a CinemaSins video than loads of CinemaSins videos do.
Prince lets his hair loose in a dramatic way, Cliche.
The cliche here is intentional. The whole point of Shrek was to provide new takes on old cliches.
Shrek is a dick to doors.
See what I mean about this video feeling more like a CinemaSins video than most CinemaSins videos do?
Will it take to cure this?
Discount Smash Mouth.
A CinemaSins knockoff accuses something else of being a discount something else without a hint of self-awareness or irony. Cliche. Ex Machina, that's racist.
The spring that's coming on.
Fiona's a dick to not Disney Ariel.
Okay, from this point forward, every time one of these sins is just a sin that's been lifted from CinemaSins, but with even less thought put into it, you'll hear this noise.
Fuck!
And we'll give it its own separate sin counter.
Running in a flower field, Cliche.
Yes, and do you know how you can tell that that cliche is completely intentional? Because it appears in a montage that's basically just a patchwork of cliches. Cliches that are only there so that they can be subverted by putting ogres in this situation rather than humans.
Don't worry, we'll take care of everything.
And then they immediately break that promise 10 seconds after they made it.
Well, Tom.
Movie that takes place in medieval times has a, oh forget it, there's no point in sinning this movie for its technological inconsistencies. This movie doesn't seem to care and I won't even bother with it.
You're right, there wouldn't be any point in sinning Shrek for that, even though you do. What was it that gave away the fact that Shrek doesn't seem to care about anachronisms? Is it the modern soundtrack, the bucket load of pop culture references? Or was it the fact that Shrek deliberately draws parallels to and references modern life every few minutes as part of a joke? I mean, at this point you may as well just add a sin because ogres aren't real.
Julia Andrews' character isn't whisking away with an umbrella in this scene.
Fuck!
Bird crashes into a wall due to being distracted by the crowd's reaction, Cliche.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a cliche.
Tension, cutaway, suspense.
Fuck!
I really want you dead, face.
Fuck!
Shrek, darling.
Oh!
To be fair, you guys didn't explain that it was a tradition of your family. You also didn't say that drinking it was disrespectful towards the family. Just saying.
We're presented all this as if it's formalities that Shrek isn't familiar with, not as if it's something unique to Fiona's family.
Shrek owns his own land.
It's in an enchanted forest.
What? I know you ain't talking about the swamp.
What a
Really? You're censoring the word douche? Wait, hang on. Douche. Oh no, you've infected me with your overabundant censoring! Dick! Ah! I can't say dick! Damn! Ah! Heck! No! What is this bit? What am I doing?
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Dinner is served.
Never mind.
character needs to announce to use the restroom, sees food, and decides to hold his bladder, Cliche.
Yeah, are you sure you know what a cliche is?
Ogres.
Fast forward!
Donkey!
This face.
Yes, I can see why you decided to pause here to draw attention to this completely average donkey face. It's not like he spends half the film making faces like this, so I can really see why you decided to draw attention to it here. Also, this face may not be a CinemaSins running gag, but for some reason I can't quite understand. In every knockoff CinemaSins channel I cover, or at least almost every knockoff CinemaSins channel I cover, this face seems to come up as a sin, and I don't understand why.
So the fairy godmother is a fairy godmilf?
I mean, not really, man. It's fine if you're into that and all, just, I don't think that this is as common as you think it is. Also, even if she was, how would this be a sin? It seems to me like you've just announced to everyone that you want to diddle the fairy godmother, and you've announced it for no good reason.
We interrupt this movie to bring you a random music sequence.
Fuck!
Scene does not contain a musical lap dance.
Fuck! After I endured blistering winds, I climbed to the highest room in the tallest tower.
He endures blistering winds.
Main villain interrupts her subordinate's dialogue and repeats his dialogue, Cliche.
See, this part actually is quite cliched, and it doesn't seem intentional, but you keep doing this thing where you're being so specific that the thing you're actually describing is no longer a cliche. Like, is it a cliche for someone to interrupt someone else and then just carry on what they were saying anyway? Yeah, kind of. Is it a cliche for a villain to do that to their specifically male subordinate? No, it is not. Also at this point, I feel I do need to mention something, because CinemaSins is kind enough to give us a sin timer in the top right hand corner of their videos, despite the fact that YouTube has one of those in their interface anyway, so it's completely unnecessary. I mean, absolutely vital. But when a knockoff CinemaSins channel goes the extra mile to give us a millisecond counter, just seeing that makes me nut. For basically probably what is about 15,000 people who've joined me since I last made that joke, there's a running joke here where we draw attention to the millisecond counters and how incredibly useful they are.
The director said, let's give Charming a kid's meal crown. That way, he'll look even more like a dweeb. The director also said, let's have Fairy Godmother talk while she's eating a burrito. That way, she'll look even more like a chubby.
Rude. Also, if you censor the word ass in asshole, you make it sound like you're just saying something a lot worse. Like, heckhole.
Wait, so you're going to have to edit all this out?
Yeah, no, it's just recording an audio. I can do whatever I want with it.
Can you put this in the video?
Yes.
Can you make that the sound counter?
You know what? Yes.
Yes.
Face it, donkey, we're lost.
Couldn't Harold at least provide Shrek a map to where he needed to go?
The reason that Shrek and Donkey think they're lost isn't because the king's directions weren't good enough. It's because they're looking for the king, and the king isn't there.
Yeah, and there's that bush that's shaped like Shirley Bassey.
Shirley Bassey shouldn't even exist in this time period.
I thought you said you realized it would be pointless to send things like this.
Character accidentally gets kicked in the groin cliche.
Okay, so this sin is pretty good at exemplifying the problem with just calling everything a cliche. I mean, especially the way that you do it. First of all, you made it too specific again. There's no reason to specify that it was an accidental kick. A character getting hit in the balls is a cliche on its own. The kick doesn't matter. But other than that, you could just call this a cheap joke, low-hanging fruit humor, or whatever, but instead you decide to call something a cliche for like the 50th time this video.
I was doing it only for my family. My mother, she's sick, and my father lives off the garbage.
I know this film came out 7 years before Puss's own film, but Puss is an orphan. He's obviously lying in this scene.
Really? Puss, the very clearly well-paid assassin, is lying about being poor in this scene? I had no idea. I'm just so glad you went and watched Puss's standalone movie so that you could bring me this shocking revelation.
Dad, have you seen Shrek?
No, I haven't, dear. You know, after your little spat last night.
Oh, you heard that, huh?
Darling, the whole kingdom heard you.
Unlikely.
Wow, I'm so glad you awkwardly edited in that first clip, even though it's completely unnecessary for the purposes of this sin. Also, have you ever heard of hyperbole?
Room full of highly valuable potions has little to no security whatsoever.
Untrue. It has a heavy bulk door, an alarm system, and an automatic lockdown feature.
Hey, man, this don't feel right. My donkey senses are tingling all over.
My spidey senses are tingling cliche.
Yes, that is the reference they were making.
I don't feel any different. I look any different?
You still look like an ass to me.
Double meaning.
Is this whole video just going to be you pointing out things that happen to be happening in front of you?
Doesn't it defeat the purpose of having a warning label if you could only read it within the bottle's interior?
Honestly, this is just good world building and character building. It feels like the fairy godmother was told that she had to put a warning label on it somewhere, so she put it somewhere that you could only see it after you drunk the potion, fulfilling her obligation but also not impeding her sales.
The drinker must obtain his true love's keys by midnight. Midnight? Why is it always midnight?
Shrek would be great at CinemaSins.
Fuck!
What is he even licking?
I don't know, man, probably his balls.
I hate Mondays.
I hate Mondays cliche.
Pretty sure it's just a Garfield reference, my dude.
We interrupt this movie to bring you the Hollywood red carpet. Godzilla roar.
Yep, no, it seems like a lot of this video is just you saying the things that happen to be happening in the film.
No.
Fuck!
Parental figure takes the hit in order to protect his son-in-law cliche.
Again, for mysterious reasons, you've just decided to be really specific when naming this cliche here. Is it a cliche for someone to dive in front of someone else like that to protect them? Yes, it is. Is it a cliche for a parental figure to do that to their son-in-law specifically? No!
Shrek is a to this white poodle.
Fuck!
Wait, they actually needed permission to display these logos? Despite the fact that said logos are parodies of the real ones? That kinda defeats the purpose of spoofing the real logos to begin with.
No it doesn't. If they were spoofing the logos specifically to get around copyright law, like a lot of things do, then you would have a point here, but that's clearly not what was going on in this film. The spoofing was there for comedy. And love it or hate it, asking permission doesn't defeat the purpose of that. So, the sin total was 42, and the punishment will be... heck. Just completely raw and uncensored. I didn't even censor it that time. heck. How does that make you feel? For me to just go around saying heck all willy-nilly. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. Next video should be coming out on Sunday, and hopefully it's going to be something about Infinity War. Also, if all goes to plan, I should be appearing on Mauler's channel Thursday night, which should be fun. But other than that, there are some links on screen now to some more of my content. If any of it interests you, please click it. It sustains me. Views... What am I doing?